Oh, right. Let's go.
Okay, my name's Belinda. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming today. I am HR Manager at Loddon Preschool Association, and I look forward to meeting you all this year and working with you as part of our what are we calling them now? Stakeholders groups. Hopefully I'll run into some of you again. We'd like to welcome Pat today. Pat is an expert in family-centred practice and has just spoken with our staff, and now you've got the pleasure of hearing her, so we're very excited to hear what she's going to say. She is really keen to talk with you and get your feedback, and this is going to be a nice and informal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so thanks. I'll hand over to you.
Thanks. So welcome everyone. So let me find out where you're from, because part of the discussion, part of the reason why we're all together is to have a look at the different roles that you've now got. You know, where you're on a committee where you had management and now manage from afar or above or aside or something. You know, who are you? What does your role look like? You know, what does it mean now? And I've been in a couple of organisations where we've had this happen. In one organisation where in each state we had a council, so I was on the Victorian Council, and then we went, you know, under the governance, we became national. So all of a sudden there was this kind of national thing, and we all went, where's our role? What do we do? You know, what's the point? So I'm wondering, you know, where people are from and how you're feeling about this sort of change and who's new, etc. So have we got people from the one centre? Do people know each other? Yes, so who have we got here?
We're from Morong.
Yep, so from one centre. And are you all new this year? You're new? New to the committee?
And Lisa and I were past committees.
Past committees. So, and how long? Yeah. So how long have you not had that management role? Is it last year as well?
No, it's been
a couple of years. So you've only ever been on the committee under the new regime.
That's right.
Okay, fine. Okay, so the conversation today is about, you know, well, what, and I think we might start with you if that's okay. And I can't read a single name. Christine, thank you. I'm Pat. So Christine, it'd be interesting, I think, to start with Christine, who's been president and been on her committee for a little while.
I haven't been president.
But yes, but under that, been on your committee for a little while. About what does your committee do, how do you see your role, and then let's just fill in, which will be lovely for you. You'll know what you're on about now after this, what you're supposed to be doing. And then we can just see what other people are doing and how other people see their roles, and then I'll throw in some ideas about possible directions. And it's going to be very different. One of the things I think about being on a committee is that there's no... they'll all be different, like your centres will be different, your families will be different. So what one committee says, we have lots of this and lots of that, another committee will be going, our parents wouldn't buy that. You know, our parents wouldn't be interested in that. And I think that's very important. But are you okay, Christine, to start talking about your experiences on your committee? So how many years?
I've been at the Kinder for 6 years straight.
Yep.
And this will be my 4th year involved in committees.
Yep.
I did have a break last year.
Right. So no child for that year?
No, I did, but I wasn't doing it for 3-year-old Kinder.
Fair enough.
So... Well, the reason I ended up taking the role as president was because I think everybody finds it a bit confronting to even give it a go. So, because it's always seen as the person that oversees whatever's going on at the Kinder. So that in itself was confronting. I wasn't planning on taking it on, I must admit.
It's the usual story. We were tied up until somebody said they'd take it.
When no one else put their hand up, I did. So that was fine. And the reason I did was because I felt that from past committees that once you've got a group of people together and you have a meeting and you start getting to know each other and you're in contact by email, you have their phone numbers, you start sort of building sort of like a contact base, so you don't feel like you have to do it all.
Yep.
You can share the workload around, and everybody's got their particular role. You know, you've got your list of what you're supposed to be doing. From past years that's been organised in our Kinder, that's what we had. Sometimes sort of there's a few grey areas in there, of course, and that's what you work with, I suppose, as you go along.
And sometimes, and people recognise this, there are personalities on committees, so sometimes the way the committee works on a particular year is actually personality-led. For instance, so somebody's very passionate about something, and they bring that to the table, then often the centre, you know, the community takes whatever that passion is on. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
committees. So I suppose for me, as a president's role, I'd probably be looking to direct that energy towards somebody that has an idea that for the kindergarten, and if they want to pursue that, I'm sure I can help them place where they need to go to if they need to, but it's up to them to sort of take ownership, I suppose, because I won't be doing it for them.
And one of the other things that I've come across in communities where there are committees is sometimes, the committee gets to know each other very well, but not the committee and the other parents. Is there any sort of reflections on that? For those has anybody been in the centre, where your child is, and not been on the committee?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, last year
Good.
I had my son in 4-year-old kinder. He's doing his second year this year at a different kinder, and that was quite difficult because there was a lot going on with the committee. Where he was, there was a lot of upheaval, a lot of things going on. So it was a lot of turmoil, and the only way you knew was if you knew someone from the committee, to find out what direction the kinder was going in. Otherwise, you had no idea.
Yeah.
So I found that a lot, that it was very nichey with, the parents from the committee would be there earlier, and they'd be discussing committee items which you'd have. So it was very hard to interact with those people on a different level because they were so focused
on whatever they're
those
doing.
things, that involvement, that level of involvement with the kinder.
See, we don't get that in our ward because we're so small.
Okay.
The committee
so
is
sometimes small
everyone
is
there.
good. So how gorgeous. So everybody is the committee.
They're all related, and a third of our mothers have the same name.
And good?
Yeah, it is good because everyone gets along.
Yes.
So it's
and
not
also
like we don't know the committee. We go to their house outside of the kinder and stuff.
Everybody also has the same information. We all hear it differently, as we know, but at least it's sort of on the table.
It's a great find.
Because that's my experience too of, parents there's parents on the committee and then there's parents attending the centre, and it seems to be quite often two different groups. So it's like, okay, if we're the committee for this year and we're, looking at community and building community, what does that mean for us as a committee? How will we involve the other parents? Because it's almost like, are you representative of the parents? Are you making decisions on behalf of the other parents? Are you making decisions for the centre, for community? Where are the early childhood staff in this discussion? So it's an interesting one. So lovely ladies over here before. Tell me your experiences. So, I'm brand new. Yes, so brand new, but have been on.
My daughter went to 3-year-old and I wasn't on the committee.
Yep.
But I was fortunate enough to know a couple of people on the committee. So
And if you didn't, would you have known what was going on?
No, and I don't think I would have known anyone at the kinder either.
Yes. So it's an interesting one, for those of us that are coming onto the committee new, and for presidents, there was 3 presidents around, to have a think about, what is our role, and if we're now losing some of our management type responsibility role, thank goodness, we might not have to have all those scary discussions that centres were having. Okay, that kind of frees us up to, well, what will we do? Where will we take this centre? And in what I was talking about to the staff before was my master's research, which was on building relationships between early childhood staff and parents, and I interviewed parents and early childhood staff about each other, and I found that very interesting, that often they wanted different things, and parents would be wanting a personal relationship with the staff who are, caring for their children, and the early childhood staff, through an insecurity, as my study showed, were wanting a bit more, like of a barrier between you. And yet all the research says munchkin in the middle, early childhood staff, parent, hunky-dory, child flourishes. That's what all the research says, if everybody's getting on. And some of the parents in my study, especially in a particular data collection which was journal writing, felt unsafe at their centre. Horrified me. I felt unsure, and your lovely comment was that if you didn't know 2 people on the committee, you wouldn't have known what was going on. So how safe is that? You sort of don't know what's going on, and I just think, I don't know, there's a ripple effect for me about if parents feel they don't know what's going on, or they're not included, or they're not part of the decision making. How does that filter down to their children who they bring to the centre with those vibes about, I don't know what's going on, I don't know how to leave my child, or whatever. So it's just an interesting one for committee. Thanks.
Staff at Morong, though, I know I didn't find that last year with my son was in 3-year-old last year. Complete competence, complete comfort with the teacher. Those
Excellent.
teachers are fantastic.
Excellent.
Probably on the committee side, or perhaps maybe there just needs to be more invitation instead of just like the parents that's on the board, that there's a committee meeting, but perhaps that's a little intimidating that it's a committee meeting,
Yes,
not a
and I
committee
think-
of parents meeting.
I think that's a lovely
Maybe
point.
that's something that people would feel a little bit more involved in terms of dropping your child off and having no concerns about leaving them there for the time they're there. That wasn't an issue at all. But I
So
think
safe
perhaps
about
invite them a
that,
little more.
but maybe not, well, where do I fit in this adult community of my centre,
So maybe
my child centre?
Maybe that's a way of taking it, just sort of invite parents a bit more into that, because they can obviously come, they just can't vote. So, and let them have a say, and that might help the committee make decisions as well.
It often helps the next group of parents feel safe enough to join if it's not so scary. I loved that comment because that's been my own personal experience. I was always on the school council. I have two adult sons, 25 and 21. Never spoke a word to them other when they were in secondary school about anything that was going on, so I joined the council. Find out what's going on. But we go, you're not going to our school, are you? Yeah. But, and I heard amazing things about what my kids were doing that they would never tell me. But what we did discuss was one of the things was a multicultural area and only Anglo-Saxons on the council. And we were the minority group in the school, number-wise. So why is it just us? And I think it's your beautiful point about what on earth do families from other countries even think a school council is? You know, what do they think we do? You know, what? Well, I didn't know what we did when I joined either. So I think that's a lovely point about, you know, what is this word committee? What does it mean? And is it intimidating for some before you actually know? And your lovely comment was that you knew a couple of people on the committee, so probably you would get a feel about what the committee was about.
That's right, and I think last year we made a lot of changes from the previous committee.
Yep.
We had probably a half carryover.
Yep.
And then made quite a few changes to open it up. But yeah, and then this year we can make more changes to open it up even more.
Yeah.
Which is a good goal.
And there might not just be the opening up for people to be part of the committee, but what's the other way of opening up? Sharing with the rest of the families what you're doing. Thank you.
We've got a good newsletter system.
Excellent. Good.
And I
Good.
find that being on the committee for the last couple of years,
Yep.
we just know just a little bit more.
Yep.
But most of the stuff that actually we discuss is in the newsletter.
Excellent.
And I have talked to other people who go to other different kinders.
Yep.
They have no newsletter at all and have not known what has gone on in their committee or anything that's happening. And it's a good way just to get
the
like
information
working
out.
bees out there and little things that you want to know. So
And is it two-way? So can a newsletter be two-way? Because I think if I'm a parent at a centre and if I'm not on the committee, you know, for whatever reason, I might still have something to say.
I know
Who do I say it to? Where do I share my good idea? Thank you.
I did newsletters a few years ago for our kinder.
Yep.
And I put my email address out there, and there was a suggestion box for parents to have a say. And I found that worked well. Not many parents did get in touch with me, but
The
at
offer
least
is
the
there.
offer was there. Yeah.
And I think that's something that the staff struggle with too. They say, look, we put this offer out, you know, like an information box or a suggestion box, something, nobody puts anything in it. And I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that it's there. That, you know, for parents who are new to the service and did want to say something and were a bit nervous maybe about speaking to a staff or a committee member, how scary are they, that there is a suggestion box or there is another way of doing it. So thank you for that. Yeah. Go.
I mean, we're talking about structure and what committees bring to the structure and the running of the kinder. But having my son last year, I find that there's these different levels. It's like the parents that want to come in and pick their kids up and go and that have no involvement or not even a social involvement for their children, not to organise play dates and things like that. But then you have parents in the meeting, which I felt that I was in last year. It was like, I want to know, but I don't really want to have responsibility for the structure of the kinder, but I want to be a presence for my son for social reasons so that he feels supported in where he's going. And the emphasis wasn't so much on him being left to form his own relationships, being a shyer kid, that I was there. It was kind of like that, probably being overprotective as well. Wanting to have a connection with other parents so that I felt supported as much as he did. So this year, that was my main thing of putting up my hand. Nobody else wanted to do it. But in thinking, okay, if I know more about what's going on in his environment, we have a way of sort of being able to channel where he's going and what he's doing without needing to know from him what's going on in his environment at kinder. So that's just my perspective.
No, gorgeous.